these beans have been around for more than 4,000 years. Not only do they farm these foods, they also harvest off of the land in different seasons.
I grew up in Magdalena working in orchards. Every season to go and harvest pomegranates and quinces, particularly. In Spanish we call them membrillos, plums, peaches. It was a way of life.
But at the beginning, I was planting things, they were not coming out. Yeah, now I'm learning which plant are growing where here. Because in my country, we don't use irrigation. We have much rain.
Food is a common denominator of people. Food is sustenance, food, but it's so much more than that. It's culture, it's language, it's celebration, it's religion. And so it seemed like the best place where we could connect. I was taken back by the amount of food waste in Tucson, traveling back and forth to finish my dissertation in Malawi, Africa. There, people were struggling with putting food on the table. And to come back to Tucson and see pomegranates and figs and citrus and all types of foods going to waste was upsetting to me. As an environmental scientist, I wanted to do something about it.
No problem. Ooh, look at this. Those are beautiful.
We've now harvested over 80 different types of fruits and vegetables. We started out with a few thousand pounds, and we now are doing 100 to 150,000 pounds, which is helping the environment as well, because wasting fruit is wasting water. And as we know, we live in the Sonoran Desert, water is very, very precious.
In the late 60s, the water was depleted because the city of Tucson was growing. So when the water was depleted, farming stopped here. And also the mine to our south was also taking water. The individual families, landowners got together, and they wanted to see farming again because they wanted to grow traditional crops. And see along here is the amaranth. So they got together and filed a lawsuit against City of Tucson. They won the lawsuit. From the lawsuit, they gained CAP water, so that's what is used for farming today. It's 900 pounds of mesquite beans that came in. Mesquite flour is a natural sweetener. You can use it in your cookies, your baked goods, your breads, tortillas. Yeah, it's mixed with wheat flour, mesquite, salt.
The traditional foods are very important to me. My grandparents would always cook the traditional foods, chapri beans and like the mesquite.
The cholla buds, you can make salsa with this. You can put it in salads and quiches, tamales, empanadas. It has a taste of artichoke and asparagus.
I don't really cook it, but I like to eat chapri beans and the salad with the cholla buds.
This one makes a delicious soup when put together with the corn. It's very flavorful. All the flavors come together.
As far as I remember when we were young, we used to pick the mesquite beans, and suck on the juice, until, not the seeds, we spit the seeds out, but we suck the juice.
And so my grandmother told us to get a whole bunch of them. So we gathered a whole bunch of them, and she dried them. After she dried them, she boiled them, and somehow she made flour out of it, and she made pudding. And inside the pudding, she had the little dumplings but I wish I knew how to make that pudding that my grandmother used to make. But I remember that, we ate off the land.
This location that we're here is called the Mission Garden. And these trees are unusual trees because they are not from here. They are not native trees to the Sonoran Desert. They are trees that came to this region with the Jesuits. These are trees that came from the Mediterranean region that include pomegranates, quinces, figs, olives, grapes. You could find these trees in all homesteads, all ranches. These trees are still alive there. And that was a trigger for me to go and collect them, propagate them, and make clones of them, and this is what we have here. So that was number one, propagating the trees, make sure that they lived and they thrived. The next thing was, what do you do with the fruit? For instance, quinces, for me, another plant that is part of my childhood because Magdalena, Sonora, is considered the capital of quinces in Sonora. Quinces are fruits that typically you don't eat like an apple or an orange because they are different. There are communities near Magdalena that to this day, they make quince preserves that basically has created the identity of the town. So we call this cajeta de membrillo. Cajeta is basically it's almost like a marmalade, but it's thicker. It's a thick fruit leather type of candy that is made out of quinces. There is a community near Magdalena called San Ignacio where to this day many families continue to make cajeta de membrillo. And what it is simply cooked quince that has been mixed with caramelized sugar and cooked for a long, long time until you get a very viscous consistency, and then you let it dry and create these blocks of this very sweet fruit leather type of consistency that when you eat it, you cut it and slice it, and you basically eat it with white cheese. It's a great sugary incentive to revive those flavors because it's my childhood, it's who I am. And at the same time, we're using these trees and this concept of regrowing these trees to educate people. Tucson is a place that for many years has received refugees from around the world, refugees from different circumstances, particularly wars and places in conflict around the world. And we discovered that many of these people, when they come to Tucson and they see these trees growing around, all of a sudden they say, I'm home.
I started to garden when I was 12 years. I was waking early in the morning, going with my mom, helping her harvesting some beans. And after school, I was going back again. Yeah, because my mom was a hard worker. I was imitating everything she was doing. I'm from Rwanda, Central Africa. I left my country because it was not safe. When I was living in a refugee camp in Malawi, where I spent 9 years, life there was very difficult. We could not have enough food to take care of my family. I started again to garden so that my family could have healthy food and organic. We came here in 2013. I started to work as a voluntary interpreter. After a while, I received a contract with IRC. I started to work as an interpreter here. I bought a house which has a big backyard. That project, I gave a specific name, Ma Gombo. Yeah, Ma meaning Mari, the name of my mom. Gombo, it's the name of okra. It's the first plant which was growing in my backyard. It's why in my back garden, I named it Ma Gombo.
Every year, we're learning something different. Right at the very beginning, with the Somali Bantu youth, they immediately grabbed mesquite pods off the tree and started sucking on them. And I'm going, what are you doing? And they said, oh, this is, you know, when you're out, we have these same trees, Algorop, in Somalia, and we just suck on them and it's naturally sweet. Giving back is something refugees want to do. We work with a spectrum from engineers and doctors and dentists to people that haven't gone to formal school. We help harvest at orchards and sometimes planting, as in garlic at Forever Young Farm.
When we have large projects that happen in a short period of time, such as garlic harvest, then we like to invite other people that to help us, and in exchange, you know, they might have an agricultural background, like the Ishkashita refugees. So many of them come from rural areas and have agricultural backgrounds. We grow lots and lots of garlic. So when it's ready and it's got to come out, it's got to come out. The harvest all happens in one day. When we have, you know, the Ishkashita refugees here, then we have people from many different cultures, and it's kind of very, very, very much fun for us. You know, it's like we're down on the farm, you know, so we don't get to travel the world, but there, you know, the world kind of comes to us.
My nickname is Young. It pronounced as if it's Y-O-U-N-G, but there's no U. So this farm is named after my name, Forever Young Farm. When we decided that, when John actually decided that, I was flattered and honored. Being a Korean cuisine has garlic in almost every dish, and garlic was just natural to me. After we experimented with so many different crops, we could grow garlic very well. And another reason why we chose to grow garlic is just garlic is not only tasty, but it also is so good for you. So we were trying to promote good health while eating good food.
It's important for us to bring the refugees out into the community through the Peace Fair, Tucson Meet Yourself, doing food demonstrations.
Hello everyone, my name is Veda Gautam, originally from Bhutan. And when I was 5 years old, my parents had to leave the country as a part of ethnic cleansing.
And I'm originally from Bhutan, and we came to Nepal as a refugee and lived there for 18 years. And in 2010, we came to Tucson, and we are living here since 2010. I'm the regular volunteer of Iskashita, and sometimes I'll go harvesting there, and not every time I'm able to do because I have small kids and I have to take care of them. So just sometimes or in weekends I'll go and help them. So especially for garlics, I haven't bought any garlics from the store since 3 years. So I went to harvest garlic and I brought them and I used them. Today I have cooked my cultural or traditional, or we can say anything, Nepali food that is called dal bhat tarkari. Is rice, lentils, and curried vegetable. Nepal is an agricultural country, and they has to work hard in the farm, in the field, and for the diet to be strong and work for more hours, they used to eat rice and these things. On Saturdays, Produce on Wheels, I used to go for volunteering, and I'll brought from there, and like tomatoes, zucchini, squares, like that. So it helps a lot for me. And yeah, we got most of the things that we can find in Nepal.
You want to eat rice? A nail color.
Like in Nepali culture, I think it is the unique culture all over the world. Especially dal bhat tarkari, the lentils, rice, and the curried vegetables are the most important dishes, important meal in Nepal, which people eat twice a day.
The bread making process is something that really resembles my life. It's a very physical in nature. There's a lot of physicality about it. You're bending, lifting, always in movement on your feet. And that part mixed with the artisanal side, you know, you're crafting something that's living. Once you inoculate it with a wild yeast or a baker's yeast, the granulated yeast, it comes to life. You get these ingredients to dance. And that to me was special. You know, as a kid, eating fresh tortillas, watching my nana make fresh tortillas in her kitchen, and then at my home, my mom making breads. For her to pull the breads out of the oven and cool them right on the stovetop to you know, keep the kids from trying to steal a piece of bread. I just remember that smell and really brought a lot of curiosity for me. Not the prettiest fugas, but tasty no less. I was 20 years old where I moved to Flagstaff, and the first day I was there, I ran into someone, and we got to talking, and he said he was a baker in town, and there was actually a position at the bakery he worked. Well, he said, come in tonight and see what you think, and it was that night I just fell in love with what was happening and was convinced that I was going to make a life out of it. Oh, cool. I'm working with the aquaponics farm there at Merchant's Garden to source their basil. So it's locally grown basil right there at the aquaponics farm. Genovese basil and then Kalamata olive. Yeah.
Great combination.
Yeah. Okay, good. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. I want to make the most nutritious bread, the most digestible bread, most flavorful bread, and something that has an amazing eye appeal. This is a combination of the artisanal side along with the science background to really study the bread to bring the most out of that seed. I feel so fortunate that I'm here right now in this point in my career, finding these local grains and making bread that has bread terroir, a taste of the place, a true signature of the Southwest.
ناغي سايا أزاش عراقيما أس ناني عراقي تشيتكم نهازي هيفي لسترهم وازي دكارچك سيكارچك خويتيغا يعني تشيخكي هركي وكا هيفي لهماويتك أفنان ديم ذكرينة اجتماعي كافاس هيفير شدكم از بجمعني حتى دني أم شورا كي دولتي أم شورا كي دري أم أصلي خو خوارنا خو وتقاليدي خوش بيرانا كان وقال كي ما هي بتشتي خو هنا شتشتي شاوي متطور به أم تشتي خو بيشاه بتشتاه ميتاخن مع احترام الشغل وتشتي خلقه ميرة هنا بس يعني ما قال كي ما ذكرينة أم تجبيرانا كان وأفتشي قال كي بعمل خوشه بقنجة حكام شغلي خوي بري بكن شغلي داكا خو شغلي خوشكا خو شغلي وطني خو افتش قالك خوشه ها طاب خوارنا اوكا خوم چيد كان شاغي مالي ما خوارن چيد كر ام وی خوارنه چیت کن وكين هذا طب حتى وجاري تشكي جيب خون نخوشه.
Do you want to try some?
ما واسيل مهات زاروين ما ده روجا بهتر جي درد ما هو بس نانو آف قاله يعني الحمد لله شو ده كنان هذه كلا خانج كيما بس آبتي نما كي خانج بس بس
So she start like that, and she already, because like her experience, she know kind of how much water. So she start like this. If we need more water, she gonna add it water.
I love to travel. I love to go to other countries and meet bakers. And you know, there's times where I don't speak the language. This is how I get to know bakers, to watch them work. And that's really where the magic happens. Because bread, it's really about the personality of the baker.
You wanna try that?
Sure.
What's that about this baker? You wanna try?
A little bit. Mm-hmm. It's okay. More? Oh, that's difficult. Perfect. She's done it a few times.
Then, by this hand, touch here and hit it.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah, hit it.
Ah!
Next one.
Excellent.
Okay?
Yeah.
Next one.
Okay.
You wanna, let me see here. Ah, amazing.
Yeah.
Once I say I believe it tastes very good. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
You. Look at this. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I
Thank
see we
you.
have carrots and you
Carrot, carrot.
have. Wow.
I have radish. Yeah.
Okay. You have pig. I see a pig.
I have
over
a
there.
two fish.
Okay.
One I bought from that event. The time I came to
At the Mission
Mission
Garden?
Yeah.
Yes. We can have extra. Wow. So what we're gonna do is just fill it up in here and it's all ready to go. Yeah, let's just mix it together. There we go. Yeah, we're doing about 50% native soil, 50% compost. So that's good, so the trees should get used to the native soil. Even though it might be caliche, it might be very hard, but this would be good to get it to get together. All right. So we're gonna do as much mulching as possible on top, and that's very, very good. That will keep things going very well. They like to be watered really, really well, a lot, but then stop. And then you let them rest, and then you got it. And then we're gonna come and eat lemons.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Nice. All right, we're ready. We're clean now.
Yeah.
This one has a lot of sugar. This one has a lot of salt. So they go together.
Oh, okay.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna eat. We're gonna cut the cajeta. Let me peel this. Comes in this little. So we're gonna cut it open like this. So this is like caramelized sugar, and it's cooked a long time. It's a long cooking process. And what we do, we just put a piece of cheese with a piece of cajeta, and then eat them together.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's try that. So it's like sweet and salty at the same time. And it's
good.
It's a Sonoran dessert.
I like it.
Well, in the next few years, you can have quince trees here growing, and you can make your own fruit leather.
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for.
Thank you too for teaching me.
Well, we'll come back again and we'll do it again.
You're welcome.
Yes.